Planet Dolan.
Hey, how's it going? It's Danger Dolan. I thought I might show you guys some of my Nintendo DS collection. I've been collecting retro games for a little while now. I've got most of the consoles and most of the games that I want. Obviously, I don't collect like sports games and kind of like shovelware, you know, that kind of stuff. So I kind of curated the games that I own over here. Most of them I bought online from Lufia Games. I do have a few that I had when I was a kid or teenager that I still own. So I have a few Australian games, but the rest of these are American editions. So I just thought I should go through these one by one, just kind of tell you guys a bit about them, my experiences with them. I think Nintendo DS is one of my favorite consoles, actually. So I played the crap out of that when I was a teenager. Same with the PSP, actually. Now that I'm older and, you know, I've got TV and like a house to myself, I generally play console games or PC games. But, you know, back then when I was traveling a lot, this was pretty amazing stuff. So first off, I'll show you the consoles that I have for DS. So this one is pretty outdated, as you might be able to tell. It's the original DS, the one with the really terrible screen. I didn't need to buy this one, so I bought it not too long ago. But I remember I traded in my Game Boy Advance SP. This is the special edition one with like the NES style on it. And I traded that in at EB Games for some credit towards the Nintendo DS because it only just came out. I was like, oh my god, it's like an N64 in your hands. And then I got it and I had like 2 games for it, and it took ages for them to release anything else. I played a lot of Super Mario 64 DS, and so it's nostalgic for me. That's the whole reason I bought it. It's nostalgic. The thing is kind of shitty, the screen. I mean, the touch screen has little dots and like lines through it because it was their very first attempt at a touch screen. It wasn't very good, but at the time it was pretty mind-blowing stuff. I still hold up that the touchscreen was a little bit gimmicky, but obviously now that we've got smartphones and everything, it's kind of a way of life now. This is the one that started it. So in addition to that, I've also got a DS. I don't know, there are so many editions of a DS, I completely lost track. I think this one's an XL, or it might, I don't know, it's a DS Lite, I don't know. It's something like that, but it's like an upgraded DS. The screen's way better. The screen's, I think it's bigger. Pretty sure it's bigger. Yeah, this is the DSi actually. This one has been modded for TV out, or you know, kind of a capture card kind of deal. I ordered this from some website. I can't remember the name. So that I could capture the footage directly from the console to the computer. So if I ever wanted to, you know, play a game on stream or I want to record footage, then I just hook this in via USB to the computer and record it from there. I also have a 3DS that's been modded. I think it might be this one. Yeah, it's this one. And you can obviously play DS games on a 3DS, so when I got this, I realized that it was kind of moot buying it because I can just play them on my 3D. I can just play every game on my 3DS and not have to continually change consoles to record footage. So those are the 2 DSs I own. Obviously I just talked about the 3DS, I don't need to say anything else about that. These fucking sticks are so easy to lose. One of these DSs, this modded DS actually, when they modded it, they got rid of the slot where you put in the stick, so it didn't come with one, so I had to use the stick from the old DS, and those sticks are pretty shit. I used to have an old fat DS, but I got rid of it a while ago. But yeah, even back in the day, I had my old 3DS the whole time they were releasing DS games. That's all I used. And it was only recently that I for the very first time, got a DS Lite, and I realized, holy shit, this is way better. Anyway, let's move on to the games. So some of my favorite ones are on top here. And then I just got like a mix behind there. Now I don't have every game, and I don't really want every game. I cherry pick the games that I have a remote chance of playing. There is a lot of trash on DS, just like there is on Game Boy Advance and Wii, that you have to kind of filter through because it was a very casual console at the time. This is before mobile phones had like a ton of games, so they were trying to appeal to everyone. So you have to really sift through thousands of games to find anything decent. Anyway, this one's Oxen Elves. It's kind of like a I don't know what you'd liken it to. Is it Hexen? I think that's the one. It's like a kind of a Doom layout, except it's an RPG and it's turn-based combat and all that, and you kind of go through the dungeon. I think, is it Legend of Grimrock? It's very similar to that. This game is interesting because it's made by id, and I'm pretty sure what was his name? John Carmack was involved in this one, and it kind of went under the radar. And they made a sequel for mobile phones, and I really enjoy this game. It's one of my favorite games for DS. Definitely give it a shot. It's from the creators of Doom RPG. So that one's always worth a play. This is Lufia Curse of Sinistrals. Haven't played it. I've played the old Lufia games. I just thought I should pick it up. Pokemon Soul Silver version. Obviously I played the old Gold and Silver games, but I never actually put this in my DS before. This one comes with the Perky Walker accessory, which I don't really know how that works. I know that people... actually, it says here, it's a pedometer. Wow, that sounds horribly useless today, but I'll take it. Heroes of Mana. So my brother and I were playing Legend of Mana recently for the PS1. That was really fun. However, he said that all the other of Mana games were shit, apart from the Secret of Mana and Legend of Mana. So I'm not in a rush to play this. I've got limited time to play games, so I'm not in a rush to play that one. Sonic Chronicles: The Dark Brotherhood. Was this the one by BioWare? Yes, it was. I remember this was really curious because it's like, are they seriously making some kind of like strategy RPG thing out of Sonic? Is the whole point of the series to go fast? Or I don't really know what's going on. Cat! Hate you! Hate you, cat. So as I was saying before I got interrupted by the cat, yeah, I think I played this for a little bit. I wasn't blown away by it, but I was willing to give it a go. I don't know much more else about it. I was enjoying it when I was playing it, so yeah, I'm always willing to revisit that. Final Fantasy III. This was really exciting when it came out. So it was. I mean, they kept remaking the old Final Fantasy games over and over, but this is the first one where they actually like put in real effort. Like they built the whole engine and they made 3D models for all these old characters. I say that, but like the characters were like non-existent. It was just like generic job characters. There's like no story. They added some story to this, but it's only like near the start. They had a little bit of story at the start, and then it just kind of vanishes, and you never really hear much story after that. Not that it matters. I mean, you know. The game's still fun regardless. Yeah, but this game is fucking hard, man. It's seriously fucking hard. There are so many points where it's just like brutal. There are so many dungeons where you have to crawl through it for like years. And then, you know, there's like no save points during the whole thing, and treasure chest bursts open and a fucking dragon pops out. Like, you're expecting something nice from the treasure chest, you know, treasures in the name, but then a thing just comes out and just brutalizes your whole team. But they do let you kind of save any time when you're out in the world, and they have save points, so that's alright. But, you know, getting to grips with the job system and leveling that up and shit, it's a pretty brutal game. They something I'll grab out right now is Final Fantasy IV. So this one, I think they fixed everything I had a problem with Final Fantasy III. Final Fantasy III felt very clunky. There are a lot of touchscreen controls I wasn't a huge fan of, where they would be like, oh yeah, you should touch the enemy and you can attack them like that, and I'm like, I don't want to do that, you know? I don't fucking do that. I just want to play the game properly. And then I'm pretty sure with this one they fixed it up so that the bottom screen is wholly dedicated to health bars and all that status information, and then the top screen is for the battles. Whereas on Final Fantasy III, the battle system's on the touch screen, like your crusty ass, like blurry, grit-covered touchscreen, and then they're like, press the things to make it attack the enemies. Like, I don't want to do that. So yeah, this one they fixed that. There's a lot more story in this one. Final Fantasy IV is a bit of a classic. That's when they started doing a lot more storytelling, and then they continued that with a little bit in Final Fantasy V, and then of course you have number 6 and number 7 and everything past that, where they're very story heavy. So this is the one that kind of started it. It's full of cliches, but still, it's really fun. And they fixed all the battle system problems I had. It's much less brutal, I can say that. I finished both of these games. But they're always worth a try. I'm pretty sure they ported them to phones, and like if you got a what do you call it, the NVIDIA Shield thing, the streaming service, I'm pretty sure they got it on there, so you can use like a nice controller on a TV and play it like that. So, do they have it on Steam? They might have it on Steam, but if you haven't played these games before, I don't care if you don't like Final Fantasy, you'll have a great time with these. If not just for the story alone, it's pretty fun. New Super Mario Brothers, here we go. So, yeah, I remember when this first came out, this was pretty revolutionary. This is the very first New Super Mario Brothers. This is when they were like, okay, let's just kind of, instead of trying to do new shit constantly with Super Mario 64 and Sunshine and Galaxy, let's just go back to our roots and just have like a bit of fun. Just spruce up the engine, make it all 3D and all that shit. So when I first played this, I played the crap out of it for like, I finished it in like a day or two. It's like, this is so much fun, man. And then of course they announced it for the like the Wii, and it was multiplayer, and so this is a fun little series, right? I kind of wish they would go back to making those big, expensive, high budget, series like Sunshine and Galaxy and all that. And in addition to these, because these are fun kind of party games when you're playing with other people. No, this one was great when it first came out. They added in little things like Mega Mario and all that. So great game. Although I will say that after I finished it like once or twice, I didn't go back to it, so there wasn't a huge amount of replayability. But they kept releasing new versions. 3DS had like 2 different New Super Mario Brothers, so they're fun playing for a little bit when they come out. Sorry if that mic's being a little bit weird. The cat's crawling on the table. Cat. That's fine. Mega Man ZX. I played. What was it? I think you had Mega Man. Was it Z on Game Boy Advance? No, Mega Man 0. Played a little bit of them, but not enough to really comment on them that heavily. But my cousin was heavily into these games. He borrowed my DS for I don't know how long. But at the time I was really invested in the PSP, so I didn't mind. But every time I visited him, he was just like he had his eyes glued to a bit of Mega Man ZX and the sequel. I don't know if there's 2 sequels or just 1 sequel, but. Anyway, I've always meant to play these games, but never had the time. Dragon Ball Z Harukunaru Densetsu. Oh, this game. I mean, I played like every Dragon Ball Z game that came out during this period. This is in like the 2000s. And this was the one game where I was like, I'm not really having fun. It's a card game. But it's kind of like a bad card game. They obviously hadn't put a lot of time into developing this thing, and it really showed. And I mean, even the cutouts of the characters looks like it was done really poorly in Photoshop. It had the little borders and shit around the characters. Like how you go into blending options and you go like the stroke. It was like that with these characters. It was awful. So that's not a good impression. I haven't played this one a huge amount. What I did play of it, I played it for a few hours. I was like, oh, this is kind of shitty. I just want a fighting game, That's what the series is all about. Age of Empire Mythologies. Don't have much to say about this one. Age of Empires, I mean, I imagine it would work quite well with the touchscreen, so that's why I bought it. Mage Knight Destiny Soldier. Don't know anything about this one, but I like to buy fantasy games, and there's a slight chance I might play it one day. I highly doubt I will, but, there's a chance. Here we go. Metroid Prime Hunters. So, I had the demo for Prime Hunters when it first came out for the DS, and I played the shit out of that. There's quite a lot in that demo, actually. It was, and it was free, I'm pretty sure. It came with the console. And so I was really eager to play the full game. In the meantime, they had that pinball game, which I don't think I picked up, which is unfortunate because I got told that was a good game, which I never played. So then when this game finally came out, I played the fuck out of it. But I did not really play a lot of the single player. I just played a lot of the multiplayer because that was really fun. I really like multiplayer on the DS. Played a fuck ton of Mario Kart. Although I always got beat by these Japanese people that were fucking like playing it like it's F-Zero and not Mario Kart. And then of course DS got hacked, and so the cat. And then of course after that point, it's like, well, GG. I mean, everyone's just cheating now. You cat. This is no place for cats. You're not a video game. So yeah, this game will always hold a special place. I didn't really play the Metroid Prime games that much, but I played quite a bit of this. And then I lost my demo cartridge for so long. I was looking for that like every week. It was at my dad's place. I put it somewhere, could not find it, and then eventually one day I was in his car and I looked in the overhead compartment where there's like a little compartment for like glasses, and then I pulled out this like little silver case that is like used for storing DS games that I had put up there as like, if I'm bored on a trip, in the car, I would go up there and find a spare game that I could put in. And then I saw the demo and I was like, oh my god, I put this in here like a year or two ago and I've completely forgot about it. I never really played the demo after that, and I lost it again. I don't know what happened to it, so that demo cartridge has been through so much. But I got the full game anyway. Mario Party DS. Now, I mean, everyone scoffs at Mario Party nowadays because of the fucking cart system. I will admit that this game does not have that cart system. And I played this quite a bit, actually. I had a lot of fun. I've always enjoyed playing Mario Party games, even if, like, I'm not playing with other people. It's still pretty fun. And this was around about the time when Mario Party was starting to be shit, but not shit. They had a Mario Party for the Game Boy Advance and a Mario Party for the DS. So I played both of those and I really enjoyed them. And not since then have I enjoyed any Mario Parties. But there's still quite a few good ones. But I mean, I don't know if I could recommend this. I had fun. The mini games were fun. Although I will say a lot of them are cheap. Like you kind of see that it was like a still image that they've kind of made 3D, kind of like what they did with Final Fantasy VII, where the backgrounds are just like kind of like these pre-rendered 3D things, or kind of like 2D canvases that they've kind of chopped up and shit. Regardless, I don't think it's that bad. It's kind of like around the era where it started to get shit, but yeah. Dragon Quest IX: Sentinels of the Starry Skies. Have not played this one. I've been meaning to get into Dragon Quest for so long. I've been playing the very first one called Dragon Warrior for the NES. That game is just completely grinding. There is no story. The townspeople might hint at things every so often, but for the most part, it's completely devoid of story. There's like 9 games, so obviously it's going to take me a while to get to this one. Pretty sure, yeah, this is 9. I wouldn't mind it. I'm pretty sure the game would be really fun if I ever get around to it. Alright, sorry for the jump cut, guys. My laptop was dying, so I had to plug it in. Now the fan's being really loud, but I can't be bothered waiting for it to stop. So anyway, the next one was going to be LEGO Star Wars: The Complete Saga. So I bought this when it first came out. The LEGO Star Wars games I've always enjoyed. I haven't really played any of the other LEGO type games. This is the only one I've had a lot of fun with. This one is interesting. Just because there was a glitch where if you play as Jar Jar Binks, you can jump, fire, and then jump again, and then fire, and then jump again. So you can infinitely jump. So you can basically break every single level, and like get behind places you shouldn't, and see like all the unfinished terrain. And it's really fascinating. I spent quite a few hours just doing that. It was really cool. So this one, even though obviously the complete Saga for like consoles is superior, this one was made on like a custom engine, so it's kind of like a different game. And because of that jumping glitch, it's just kind of entertaining just because of that. So I would recommend it just in case you were bored and wanted something different to do. I always found it really interesting that I had to develop a whole engine just for this one port of the game. I've always liked that actually, this was back in the day where you couldn't just port the game to Xbox One, PS4, Steam, and it'd be the exact same game except for like FPS issues or whatever. But back then, like with Game Boy Advance games, so you have like a multi-plat like Harry Potter games or like Dragon Ball Z games or anything like that, and they would have to develop a new engine for it. Even the Lego Star Wars for Game Boy Advance had a kind of, it's not, I don't know if it's isometric, but it's in that kind of vein. Viewpoint, and so that was a completely new engine for that game. It's basically a completely different game, but they never kind of advertised that. So these days, like when you're buying for old consoles, you have to kind of look up whether or not the game had a different engine, because then you're in for a completely different experience. And this one is relatively different. I would say the Game Boy Advance one is completely different, but this one's fairly different. Then you have GoldenEye 007. I'm pretty sure this is just like a standard remake. I don't think there was anything too special about it, just making the FPS less shitty and all that. I don't have much to say about this one. I just picked it up just because of the name alone. Starfox Command. This one is really good. Really underrated game, actually. I'm surprised a lot more people didn't enjoy this one. So, it's different in the sense, obviously Star Fox has been about kind of the on-rail shooter, where you just kind of go through the levels, shoot stuff like you see on the screen. This one, it has that, but instead you have a map system where you gotta, use your stick to, plot your route across a stage, and then you got enemy ships on the way. And as you encounter enemy ships, it turns into a battle, kind of like all-range mode. And so that's the whole game, is that you gotta shoot down the ships and all that. And so there's strategy involved in the battle system, which I've always really enjoyed. It's just a really cool game. You have to manage your fuel going, on your route to kill some enemies. The dogfighting is really good. I just thoroughly enjoy this game. There's a bit of story to it, but I skipped through most of it because it's just characters talking, and I've never been a huge fan of just characters waffling on about exposition and just nonsense. Then I have Zuna, Legend of the Ninja. Don't know much about this game. I know that this is the European edition of the game, because I wanted to buy it from America, but Lukey Games didn't have it, so I bought it from eBay. But in the States, it's called Legend of the Unemployed Ninja. I don't know why they felt they had to get rid of that word. I don't know. Some kind of censorship thing. I don't fucking know. Man Zx Advence. Not much to say about this one. Same kind of thing as ZX. Wouldn't mind playing it someday, but if I have the time. Hotel Dusk Room 215. Now, back in the day, I was a horrible pirate, so I had the R4, so I could load on, the illegal, what do you call them? The ROMs for the games. And so I remember downloading this one just because it looked interesting based on all the images I saw for it. And yeah, I had a bit of fun with this. But I never played it for too long though because it was pretty repetitive. I'd never been a huge fan of detective games. Something like Phoenix Wright and Danganronpa and all that. In the same kind of vein where it's about solving mysteries and shit. Just puzzle stuff. I've never been a huge fan of puzzle stuff. There are exceptions to the rule, for the most part, yeah. I enjoyed what I played of it, but I probably would never finish it, to be honest. Then we have Pokemon Heartgold version. Again, this one comes with the Pokewalker. Not much to say about this one. I wouldn't mind doing a Nuzlocke run with these. Although it's much easier to stream or record footage for the Game Boy Advance and the Game Boy than it is to record for the DS. Just because there's two screens. It's hard to kind of convey that footage when all you got to work with, with YouTube and Twitch, is just a 1920 by 1080 video. So you have to kind of lump on those as well if you have a camera as well. So that's the only thing holding it back, regardless. So those are the ones at the front row here. Then I've got quite a fucking few games to the back here. So gonna be a long video, so settle in. Should be fun if you guys are nostalgic for DS games. Dementium the Ward. Great game. It's just like a kind of standard horror game. You're just going through, I think, a hospital the whole time. Just kind of conserving. It's survival horror. Low poly zombies and monsters and stuff. I just enjoy this game. I can't tell you what it was. It's just really cool. Although it's been a while since I played it, to be honest. Pokemon Trozai, I have no idea what this game is. It's like a puzzle game. It's kind of like a Tetris-y Dr. Mario kind of thing. Never played it, can't comment on it. It had Pokemon in the name, so I picked it up. It's pretty cheap, so. Again, Pokemon Dash, didn't really play this. Don't really know how it works. It's a Pokemon spin-off. To be honest, I'm probably not going to play these games unless someone specifically told me that they were good and that I should give them a shot. And then I might. But I've got too many other games to, play games that I'm only half interested in. Final Fantasy, The Four Heroes of Light. I think I recall playing this game. a while ago. I think. I can't remember though. But I'm pretty sure it was built on the same engine as Final Fantasy 3 and 4. I'm not sure though. Regardless, it looks good. I just never go around to playing it, so I have no idea if it's any good. Legend of Zelda Spirit Tracks. So I should have the other one here as well. Let me just scour for it with my eyes. Here it is. Phantom Hourglass. There it is. Yes, I mean these games kind of go hand in hand. So I played a bit of Phantom Hourglass, I believe. I really enjoyed the system where you gotta like kind of build your own map. It was kind of annoying though, because sometimes I just couldn't be bothered doing it. But then on the other hand, it was kind of fun. So if I could be bothered doing it, I had a great time because it was like you gotta like give yourself hints and shit. So that was really cool. And I thought the combat was interesting as well, using the touchscreen. Although I'm like, I don't know if I've explained before when I've done like unboxings for games and shit, but I've never been able to get into the Zelda series. I've always wanted to though. I really don't mind watching other people play it. I enjoy doing that, but this is the problem with puzzle games. I get stuck and then I get frustrated and I don't want to do it anymore. So same kind of deal with this. You know, if I get to a bit where I get stuck, I'm like, you know what, fuck this. I can't be bothered with this anymore. You know, back then I wasn't using a lot of guides, so it'd be a bit harder. Nowadays I've got a lot of guides. I'll do a separate kind of showcase for my guides eventually, because I've got quite a few. You could probably see a few in the background right there, just kind of on the ground. Dementium 2. I don't think I've ever played this one, but obviously I like the first one, so I wouldn't mind playing that one. Nostalgia. Now, I've never played this game. I only found out about it recently. I just know that it was... Pretty sure it was a collaboration between some companies, and apparently it went really well. After I read about that and and how nice it looks, I thought it might be fun. I know that it was inspired by like old school games, hence the word nostalgia. But that's about all I know about it. But it looks really good. Kirby Canvas Curse. Now I bought some Kirby games, but I don't know about any of them really. I just bought them because hey, it's got Kirby in the title. I mean, some of the Kirby games aren't very self-explanatory. I don't know if they're like spin-offs or if they're like legit Kirby games that like side-scrolling, you know, kind of where they put all the effort into making it good. So I'm always wary of that. I really don't like playing spin-off games, to be honest, because they feel like they've been developed by like the B team at the company, whoever made them. And so I don't want to waste my time with like something they've only like kind of put half their effort into, which I guess is kind of like a broad topic, you know, like early access and all that these days. So this one is Final Fantasy Tactics A2. I know that Pringle's a pretty big fan of Final Fantasy Tactics. First, the only Final Fantasy Tactics game I played was, I'm pretty sure, on the Game Boy Advance. I'm pretty sure it was just called Final Fantasy Tactics, although I'm not sure. I'm pretty certain it was a Game Boy Advance game. But, okay, so I enjoyed it when I was playing it, but it requires such a huge time investment. It felt like an MMO at times that I didn't like the idea of playing any more of them. If I had to play them, I wouldn't mind, but I don't want to invest so much time into them. But if someone held a gun to my head and said you had to play them, I'd be like, alright, that sounds fine. Avalon Code. Don't know. It's bright and colourful and probably fantasy. And has a 3D battle system for that. I don't know anything else about it. I just collected it because it looks interesting. I mean, sometimes I do that with games. I'm just like, you know, it looks cool. Why not? This is, you know, I don't have many sports games, but sometimes I do make exceptions, and this is definitely an exception. Tony Hawk's American Skateland. Pretty sure this is the one with the stylized graphics. I might be mistaken, though, because I haven't actually booted this up in a long time. If I am mistaken and I got the wrong game, then that's my fault. But I played the fuck out of a stylized Tony Hawk's game back on the DS when it first came out, and I mean played the fuck out of it. Really fun. So, you know, I grew up in the PS1 era where Tony Hawk's was like a big thing for a while, so I played the crap out of that one. And so this one was like Tony Hawk's on the go. Why not? I didn't play. I know there were other Tony Hawk's games. I'm pretty sure for the DS that I never got around to playing. But I always thought the game looked really good, and I had a lot of fun playing it. So I wouldn't mind playing it again someday. Mazes of Fate. I don't know shit about this game. I'm pretty sure it was on other consoles as well. Full 3D, an epic RPG adventure. I've never liked when they advertise a game as like 3D. To me, it feels kind of desperate because it doesn't matter if your game is 3D or not. It should just be a good game. I know that 3D is kind of a selling point sometimes, and I've always personally preferred 3D games, but I will say that, some of the best games of all time are 2D, so it doesn't really matter that much. And so it just feels like a company that isn't really sure of themselves, and they're just like, instead of pushing some kind of features that are like really cool, they're just like, hey guys, it's 3D. Like, yeah. Anyway, I still got it though because it's a fantasy game, and I like fantasy games. Castlevania, Portrait of Ruin. I know that Hellbent was playing a few of these DS Castlevania games recently, and I've always meant to get into them as well. I watched some SGDQ speedruns of these games, and they look really fascinating. They're very Symphony of the Night-esque. So maybe someday I could get into these. I fully anticipate that someday I'll have like a Castlevania binge, and these will be part of it, sure. Dragon Quest 4. Again, same thing as number 9. I've been meaning to get into this someday. I know that they're releasing, is it number 8 or 10 on 3DS pretty soon? Or 7? I don't know. It would be nice to play these. And so I've been collecting them in anticipation for one day when I do. Been definitely meaning to do that. And here we go. This is a classic. Phoenix Wright Ace Attorney. I know there are a few games of this series on DS. I don't know if I collected all of them. I got, this one as well. Trials and Tribulations. So, I got at least 2. Might have more. I've always enjoyed the Phoenix Wright games. I remember when they first came out, it was like just the meme of like objection every 2 seconds. But then you play the game, it's like, actually, this is really cool. You never really see a game where the whole thing is utterly comprised in like a courtroom and expect it to be fun, but it's actually really good. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, I don't have much to say about these games. I never really picked them up. Again, I'm wary of like games that sound like a spin-off. So when you're talking about a Final Fantasy game that is not like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and all that, I feel nervous because I don't want it to be a waste of my time. I need someone to vouch for it for me before I play it. Otherwise, I'm probably not going to bother. Dungeon Raiders. I feel like this was like a port of like a mobile game or some shit. Although I'm pretty sure at the time they weren't really developing these kind of 3D mobile games. So I don't know. It just, the kind of the font and the art style looks like a mobile game today. That kind of like over-exaggerated, like colorful bullshit with that kind of font. Picked it up because fantasy game. Why not? Luminous Arc. Don't know anything about this game, so I'm not going to embarrass myself by trying to tell you about it at all. I just thought it might be cool. Advance Wars, Dual Strike. I've always enjoyed the Advance Wars games when I played them. I don't know if I played this one specifically, but I played a bit of the Game Boy Advance one, so picked it up because it's fun. And here's another Advance Wars games. Days of Run. DK Jungle Climber. Again, same reason. I don't know if this is a spin-off game. Simple controls make the game fun and easy to play. So that's not a good sign when that's the first words that you see. So that players of all skill levels can swing and climb their way to new heights. So what that immediately tells you is that it's a game for casuals. Because like if you're marketing for a game, you don't immediately say, hey guys, anyone can play this. Toddlers, grandmas. Because at that stage, I'm like, oh, it must be really, really, really simple then, and have absolutely no complexity or depth. I might be wrong there. I would hope I'd be wrong. But regardless, I mean, it's not a full-fledged Donkey Kong title, so I've never actually booted it up before. Here's one that someone from the stream told me to get. Call of Duty Black Ops for the DS. So, don't really have any Call of Duty games. I bought this one more as a joke. Because I wanted to see how it handles, right? I played Metroid Prime Hunters, and I personally really enjoyed the touchscreen kind of controls of the gun. But yeah, this one, I'm pretty sure the controls are fine. Boring though. Boring. I imagine the Wi-Fi, like the internet multiplayer would have been fine. I played Resistance for the PSP, and that was basically, Call of Duty and all that Halo and bullshit. And that played fine. And that was really fun. I really enjoyed, like, kind of curling up in my bed with, Resistance in my PSP and just playing online matches just, like, all night. It was great. So I imagine it would have been in the same vein for this. I don't think anyone played it for the single player. I played, like, 5 minutes of the single player. I'm like, this is shit. This is turtle shit. This is boring shit. Looks like crap. It's shit. Contra 4. Really enjoyed this game. I got introduced to the Contra series through this game alone. I have, like, just memories of me. It was like summer, right? Summer, hot as fuck, and I was kind of camped out in my house, sweating to death. And yeah, I downloaded this to my R4, and I played the tits out of this. I got a forewarning before I played it, though. I read on a message board that the Contra series is like notoriously difficult. So I booted it up and fully expecting to be like killed over and over, kind of like when you boot up Dark Souls and it's like, oh, I'm gonna die. It's kind of like that with this, and to its credit, it does fucking kill you over and over. There are codes to have more lives though. It's kind of necessary, I think. Then there are unlockable characters and weapons and shit. Really enjoy this game. If you don't know what the Contra series is, it's just like Metal Slug, side-scrolling shooter, like bullet hell kind of stuff. Really enjoyed it. Definitely worth a go. And it's a really polished game as well. I went back and played other Contra games after that, and I still think this one's my favorite. Zuna, this is a Zuna 2. I don't have much to say about that one, because it's a sequel to the other one, and I haven't really played it that much. Super Princess Peach. I think I might have tried it once or twice. It seemed alright, but it had that very spin-off feel. The graphics looked very not good. It looked kind of cheap. So I don't know what company developed this game. I don't really know if it's, like, fun. I mean, it played alright. I just don't know much else about it. But I thought it was cool that they made a game centered around Princess Peach. They hadn't really done that before. But from what I played, I was kind of hoping it would be better. Something really cool. I mean, even look at the front fucking thing, right? It got the opposite, like, role now. She's rescuing Mario. I'm pretty sure that's the plot. I mean, I'm judging from the front cover there. But I mean, they could have done so much else with it. She could have done something completely new. Instead, they just kind of swapped it, and they're like, "Hey, now she's the one doing it." It's like, all right, if the game was good, who cares? But I can't really judge for that. Point Blank DS. I'm pretty sure this was a cheap one, but I still wanted to buy it because I was a huge fan of Point Blank when that first came out. It's great series, great light gun game. Always played it in, like, when you go to the cinemas that have booths set up for Point Blank, so you'd always play a few rounds of that. And I was like, touchscreen controls, Point Blank, sounds fucking awesome. I don't recall it being that good though, this one. The original Point Blank was great, but this one, I don't know. I'm assuming what happened was they contacted the company when they first announced the DS, and they were like, hey guys, this has got a touchscreen, it'll be just like having a shooter in the palm of your hands, and then they whip something together. And they threw it out there, and then it was really cheap. So, to their credit, they did their job. They just didn't do it very well. Elite Beat Agents. I played this one on stream, when people were requesting, like, a random-ass DS game thing. And that was my first introduction to it. This game is fucking insane. It's like, what can I like it to? Just like rhythm games, where you just press a button, like, when the beat drops, like, Parappa the Rapper and Guitar Hero and shit. But then on the top screen, you got random bullshit happening. When the very first one is like, you gotta like feed an infant, and then like everyone's screaming and shouting. and then they're throwing food around, and everyone's dancing, and I don't even fucking know, but it was great. Loved it. Loved every second of it. Although most of my focus was on the touchscreen and getting the beat down, whereas everyone on stream was like, what the fuck is this? I don't understand what's going on. For good reason.